What's up, pickleballers? Today we got the King of Jersey on the podcast, Richard Livornese Jr. He is the APP Next Gen San Antonio winner on the male side. He signed an MLP contract last year. It's a great day to be Richard. How you doing?
How are you, Tyler? Good to talk. Good to be here.
Dude, I'm happy to have you on, especially to talk about this APP Next Gen. They used to have the live stream, but the last one they didn't. So for fans that don't know too much about the APP Next Gen, could you break that down, how partners are decided, and then what all these points mean?
Yeah, so it's definitely a little bit of a different format, but it's a really cool format. So the idea behind Next Gen is they want to know who's the best at all of the events. So the points are cumulative. So there's a set number of points so if you win any division, so let's say you win men's singles is the simplest. So you win men's singles, you get 300 points. You get second, you get 240, 180, 120. And if you don't finish in the top four, you get 20 for every main draw win and 10 for every back draw. And that's how the whole weekend works.
Okay.
So the only other thing that's a little weird is there have never been enough girls to match the number of guys. So on Friday, there's another men's division. So a lot of players end up playing, about half the men end up playing two men's, which is what Jack, Monroe, and I did this time, just because of how the partnerships worked out. So in terms of the partners, I mean, it's very similar. Some people don't have partners. They go on a waiting list, just like a normal pro tournament. But I think most people, when they first come, which is what I did, usually come with a friend. And then you kind of meet partners there. So there's 3 of these a year. And you kind of like find partners, either you beat them or they beat you. The first time I played with my buddy Aaron Resnick. And since then I've played with Jaden a few times. And this is the first time playing with Jack. And I'm playing at the next one actually again with Jack. So him and I are playing a lot together. He's awesome. I'm sold on him. The guy's an animal. So I'm really excited to get to keep playing with that guy.
Sweet. I mean, I've been sold on him for a while too, so it's cool that you guys got to link up. And how did that conversation come about, or how did that partnership happen?
Yeah. So again, and this is the cool thing. Anybody thinking about Next Gen, I'm like, for me, I'm as big on Next Gen as it gets. So for me, that this was my first tournament that wasn't like a local tournament. So this was my first experience, like knowing how good pickleball players were. I went there, I got absolutely wiped by the guy I'm playing with in Sacramento, Austin Chikatalov. I think I lost like 1-1 to him in mixed doubles. So that was my first, I was like, whoa, I was like, all right, so we got to get to work here. So it's super fun. And I would encourage anyone, even my friends locally, there was actually probably 4 or 5 of them that went to this one. And the number one reason they were all going, like you're talking about, to find partners. So this is one of the best places for people to find partners, especially in that young group, like the come up, because you can't walk up to Andre Dask and be like, hey, can we partner? So you kind of need to find people around your same level, and there's a ton of people here, 80, that are all in the same boat as you. I mean, to varying levels, but
sure.
We're all similar. So it's super cool. So Jack and I met at Next Gen. I think he won the one that was like 3 Next Gens ago, and then I won the next one, and then we had talked about playing tournaments. And we played, we lost to Andre and Rob together in the quarterfinals, played pretty well at Punta Gorda, and we're playing another one coming up. So we had scheduled a few, and Next Gen was one of them.
Sweet, awesome. And you were the overall winner. Jack was in second place, 10 points less than you. How did it feel to get a win over your men's doubles partner?
It's kind of, we were talking about it. It's kind of like, I had never done the alternate men's. So I'd always played mixed, but Jack had done this, so he's been in this weird situation. So it's kind of weird because you're always going to go in tied with the partner to Sunday. So it's going to come down to singles. And Jack and I would say are pretty similar at singles. So we didn't really know what was going to happen. And we ended up actually, so we both lost to the same person in the back draw, Ronan Cameron. If he had won, he lost it was really tight, maybe 21-18. If he had won, we would have played each other to decide. We would have been tied in points, 6-8 each, and we would have played to decide who won the whole thing, which I was really hoping for. I think he was as well. But he had to really grind. So this is also what happened last time. I won singles, and Jack played like 7 backdraw matches to win bronze, and then we ended tied in points, and he won based on they went to, because we hadn't played each other, they counted our total point differential from all 3 events all weekend, and he won by like 4, I think. So it was funny because like at the last event, like we had a really close tie and he was ahead, and this event I like by 10 points. So I think it's all fun. It's all fun between the two of us.
And that's cool. I mean, you guys are partners now, partners in the future. You guys are so close. So it's kind of a fun rivalry, but at the end of the day, you guys are kind of in this together, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
And switching gears a little bit, you've been playing for what, 2-3 years? I mean, it hasn't been much. How did you
I started
so fast?
So I'm definitely someone who's newer. And on top of that, like I never played a racket sport background. Right. So I definitely had a much longer like learning curve than other people. But I started October 2 years ago. So 2 years and like 3 months ago. For me, like I said, so the first hump was getting over the racket sports, which to an extent I'm still doing.
Sure.
There's like certain wrist manipulations and drive things that people help me with still a lot. Chad and Simone, I've been working with. Chad's the coach of the national team, and Simone Jogin is his wife. And so they've been helping me with that. They're awesome. And Ken Herman as well from the APP. A lot of people helping me. So, but I guess the first part for me is I've always been like a very, the first thing is I like pickleball. So it's easy to get out there and play a lot. And then on top of that, like I'm pretty athletic, so I'm able to, get by with that. And then I spend a lot of time on technique. And I think that's the thing for anyone trying to get better quickly. It's figuring out the right way to hit shots, because you can go out and practice 5 hours a day if you want. And if you're not practicing things the right way, forms like today, like I was working on like one specific shot. So my friend and I got out there and he hit the same shot for an hour, and I was working on how to defend it. But like that's kind of, I think, the best way to work on things. So I've been doing that now for like over a year, where like drilling and trying to be very specific, take film of myself. So I guess taking like an analytical approach to how to get better, that's worked for me. I know a lot of other people do it differently, but I don't think, I think this is the best way for me to learn. So I think for everybody, they kind of have to figure out what type of learner they are. Are they like somebody that just wants to go out there and practice and they can kind of feel out their shots? Like I know Jack's really good at that. Like he'll talk about like going to rec play and like he's working on new strokes and all this kind of stuff. And for me, I need to hit the same shot in a row like 1,000 times to like have any sort of like feel for it. So I think everybody's a little bit different, but that was my path.
No, that's a great answer. And I think it's nice it's reassuring to hear your story, and that you didn't come from a racket background, and it kind of allows us who are in the same boat as you, like, hey, actually we have a chance too. Like we don't have to have a tennis background to potentially be as good of a player as you are. Your foundation was lacrosse in football as well, but is there anything, because it's not a racket, but maybe it's the closest non-racket thing. Did that help at all, or was it more of a hindrance?
Well, I would say in terms of lacrosse helped me in terms of physical build.
Okay.
So like I think especially midfield, which is the position I played where you're just running a lot, the build I had muscularly from lacrosse is kind of similar to a tennis player, maybe slightly stronger, but a lot of emphasis on shoulders and core. So like in terms of all the stuff tennis players are working on, I mean, I wasn't working on rotation like this. I was working on rotation like this, but it's similar muscles. So I definitely think my body was ready to transition. But I would say in terms of the shots and the strokes, there's very little comparison, but it definitely helps. I was physically able to do the things I was working on. Like I have the core strength, the wrist strength, everyone always talks about like the J-Dub forearm strength.
Right.
Like, I've been training forearm since I was like 5 years old, not for pickleball, but for lacrosse. So in terms of all of that, I definitely have more of that than someone who didn't. And then once I got into it, I've changed my lifting, my conditioning and all that a little bit, but actually not that much. So I think that was pretty good. But yeah, a lot of time on the technical stuff that I had to work on.
Okay, right on. One more question about pickleball, then we're going to switch topics. This is a community question from Dean. He's curious about, how do you let out balls go out? Do you have any tip or recommendation? Because that is a skill, but it's a kind of a difficult skill to practice. But do you have any advice on that?
Yeah. So in terms of like, so one thing to do would be like when I play in like rec play, like something I'm working on right now is speed ups off the bounce. For me, for most, I'm trying to start with saying anything like above my shoulder level and above, I'm going to let go as a base.
Sure.
Right. And then let's say I play somebody, great examples like someone like Jack or used to be Roscoe Bellamy, somebody who has that Pro XR paddle and knows how to use it. Maybe they can keep those in. Rob Nunnery's another one. But until somebody shows me that they can do it, I'm going to get burned on it first. And then the second thing is like you actually, so I think it's a Tyson McGuffin drill from a long time ago, but you play like skinny singles, but you get 2 points if you let an out ball go. So there's little things, place more emphasis. So if you're in between, it kind of encourages you to let the in-between balls go. So I definitely have done a little bit of that. And then the other thing is if people are like smoking balls, like people that speed up a lot, and you're like, you think the balls are going to go out, I would say, if you're not sure, take a step back off the line because, you know, at the line, maybe the ball's here and you're like, okay, maybe it's in. But when you take that step back, now it's here and you're like, no way. So I definitely, and you have more time to react.
Sure.
So in a match where like somebody's hitting really hard balls or the ball's sitting, I would take a step back and it's a lot easier to see.
Okay, all great advice. Let's go to off the court. I know pickleball is kind of your life, but what else do you do?
Yeah, so I guess the thing I spend most of my off time with, I have a girlfriend of like 6 years.
Sweet.
So I spend a lot of time with her. I do a lot of things, but we hang out. We don't do much pickleball. So whether it's like I live in New Jersey, so I go to New York City or Philly. I have cousins and people. We have a group of friends. So like I think Friday we have a big night planned. We're going to Chili's, and I don't drink anymore, but they're going to get drinks. We're going to get food and then hang out with some of our friends. Yeah, so a lot of pickleball, but I definitely try to have a healthy amount of non-pickleball in my life. And then on top of that, sometimes I'll play other sports. Cool. I like being active. And right now my sister's a senior in college at Delaware. So I try to go watch her play lacrosse as much as possible. Her season just started.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, seeing my family is definitely the thing I do most. And then friends as well.
Dude, all good stuff right there. Are you binge watching any shows or what are you doing? What's anything like that?
Yeah, so I just finished. So I watched The Wheel of Time. They had 2 seasons of that. I finished that. My girlfriend Natalie and I we're watching Castle. It's a mystery show.
Okay.
It's like a mystery. He was a mystery writer and he like works with the police. It's like a typical crime show, but it's really good. It's from like 2008 to like 2014. I remember liking it when I was younger, and I don't remember it. So we started watching it, and we're like 5 seasons in. So you know, the nice thing about Netflix now is like you can find these shows that have 8 seasons, 20 episodes. You know, so
it's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's like,
it is.
It's almost like why watch a show like the week to week thing, or even the season to season where you watch one season and then you have to wait. It's like you don't need that anymore. Just wait till the entire thing's done and then just get after it.
Our world of instant gratification makes it really tough to wait. It makes it really tough to wait for shows when there's other shows you can watch 100 hours of.
It totally does. One last question before I get you out of here. Can you teach me a Jersey slang word, phrase, something I can leave here with?
Okay. I don't, it's tough because I guess a lot of people say this, but like, I don't hear what we say, but sure. I guess like people think we say like, oh, okay. I don't know if it's I guess people say Joyzy a lot. I mean, I don't say that.
Okay.
But that's a big one, but I don't know any other. But I will, how about this? I will teach you about a Jersey item.
Let's go.
Bagels are huge in New Jersey, and there's a meat called pork roll, which is Taylor ham. Some people call it Taylor ham. It's pork roll. But it is the best bagel topping in existence. So pork roll, egg, and cheese is a bagel favorite. So if you know, when if you're in New Jersey, New York, the Northeast, pork roll, egg and cheese, gotta try it. It's amazing.
And what is it like a ham or something like
Yes,
that?
it's
Or?
like a ham, but it's like better than a ham. Yeah, it's not like flimsy like deli ham. It's I don't know, it's a little bit harder and it's very flavorful. I don't know, it's awesome. Been eating it my whole life. So
Cool. I'm trying it next time I go out there.
absolutely.
All right, everyone, that is Richard Livornese.